You be good. You be good. Silly rat. Silly rat. Okay, we're rolling. Okay, so okay, we're all set. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Tyler. Welcome to Scorpio Ox Man channel on this Halloween special. Oh, now you be good now. This is my rat. Yeah, he's my rat, my pet rat. And he could be nippy. He could be nippy at times. Yeah, he doesn't. I've had him quite a while. He's usually a good boy. Usually. Okay, so I'm not very used to live streams. Usually I do these occasionally though. And so tonight we're going to have a couple of guests with us joining us again as they have before. Amber Lynn Kimberly Birch and Dahlia Rose from Hawaii will be joining us again tonight. And Amber Lynn is she's gonna have ghost stories for us, true ghost stories that happened to her. I'm gonna tell some of my own as well. Wink, wink. And Dahlia Rose, she may or may not have some stories, but she's gonna tune in. Yeah, she's gonna tune in, maybe give some insider feedback. And so right now, we're awaiting for Amber Lynn. They'll be joining us shortly. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so they're going to join in. And so, by the way, I want to give a shout out to Alyssa and Rebecca. Alyssa and Rebecca, they couldn't make it tonight. So what's going to happen probably in a few weeks or so, sometime in November, the next availability, we're going to probably do a part 2 of this, most likely, since they weren't able to make it tonight. So out of fairness, we're definitely going to do a part 2 sequel for them. Yeah, Amberlyn will be with us shortly. Yeah. So I want to give a shout out to Alyssa and Rebecca, and thanks for tuning in and watching. And then you could watch and comment as well. The chat section is there for you to go on in the chat as well. Yeah. Yeah. So Amberlyn will be on momentarily. So. Okay, excellent. Okay. Live stream. Now, tonight's show, this show tonight, it's just for fun. There's really no educational stuff that I'm going to teach. Tonight's not really about astrology. It's a special show. We're just going to be we're sharing ghost stories in honor of the Halloween season. Halloween, 1 week from tonight. It's getting exciting. Yeah. And of course, Halloween in the rat year, the year of the rat 2020. So my guy here, he's a little, yeah, he's a little nippy. I got to be careful with him. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Yeah. He barks at me when he wants to be held and then barks when he wants to be let down. So okay. Oh, I'm just giving everybody, some friends of mine, a shout out that we're live. So that's what we're doing. Okay, just giving a shout out to some friends of mine. Okay. And yeah, I mean, Amber Lynn, Ginger Hobbit. So Amber Lynn, her, or AKA Ginger Hobbit is her name. Oh, Ginger Hobbit. Okay, so Dahlia Rose from Hawaii is saying she won't be able to make it. Something came up. She has a reading to do for a customer of hers. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so giving a shout out to Dahlia Rose. And by the way, when this video is done, I'm going to leave a link for Dahlia Rose's website. She's a tarot reader and a very good one. Okay, and so I've known her. I met her over this channel this year. She's an amazing tarot reader. So I'm going to leave her website and her link on this description of the show so that you guys, if you're interested, she's the one to go with. If of people I know, she actually gave me my first tarot reading, and my very first tarot reading was from her. And she has a website in that, and she's really getting up there. She's a rising star. So check her out. Something came up today. She had a customer came up. So, you know, it is a business thing, of course, but this is why we've scheduled, like Scorpio Ox Man, I always have a backup plan. Scorpio Ox Man always has a backup plan. So in November, we're going to do a part 2 of this where Alyssa and Rebecca, who weren't able to make it this weekend, most likely they'll be available then, that they'll come on the part 2 show. Okay, and Amber Lynn is on her way. She let me know that she's on her way. And so it's going to be her and I sharing ghost stories with one another. Yeah. So, you know what? I think I wouldn't blame anyone if they were to I wasn't sure I wanted to do the show because I get goosebumps with ghost stories. I think any kind of stories, it's harder not to get goosebumps. So I don't know. Yeah, I may have to turn this off right away when Amber Lynn starts telling us. If I get too scared, I may have to turn it off. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'll make it through as long as I have my earplugs in. So yeah, this time of year, a lot of people are busy in the hall. A lot of people have been busy as of late, as we know, especially in the fall. The fall and Halloween season, I find there's a lot of people are having Halloween get-togethers and parties and that, like maybe not going out to actual parties, but having them through Zoom and such. So that's it gets busy for people at this time of year, and no question. So oh, just checking in. Yeah. So yeah, it's not going to be a long show. So yeah, initially we booked, I invited the four guests I was able to get a hold of to be on. So two have now, basically three of them had ghost stories they were going to share. Okay, so two weren't able to make. I want to explain a few things why the two weren't able to make it. But Amber Lynn was really looking forward and psyched to be on tonight, and so that's why she's going to be able to make it. Now, Alyssa, my friend Alyssa, I heard a little rumors about Alyssa that the rumors that, and I'm not saying these are true, they're only rumors, but Alyssa is a sorceress from what I've heard. So she gets a lot of customers asking her to do spells for her. So she's putting a lot of stuff in her cauldron and stirring her cauldron and lighting candles and meditation, all that. She has a long lineup of customers. That's how busy a sorceress gets. So, and hey, it may kind of put her on the spot being on a show like this. So it's understandable if her customers are more important than I am, of course, in this show, because hey, my show, it's just Scorpio Ox Man is just a small channel. That's kind of the way I prefer it to be right now. But that is the rumors that I've heard about Alyssa, and I want to be careful what I say. I don't want to say too much but she's friendly to me. Hey, I've known Alyssa. Alyssa's one of my oldest friends that I've met in the last. I've known her. Well, yeah, I've known her a long time now, years and years, and so she's pretty friendly with me. So I think I could probably get away with what I just said in that. But hey, I'm trying to entertain the viewers and subscribers here. I'm sure she understands. But yeah, she wouldn't put a spell on me. I don't think. Well, I'm giving you a big shout out, Alyssa. Thanks for tuning in tonight. She said she'd tune in if she had time, and she'd probably leave a comment. Let's see if there's any comments that were left. A Saturday night. Yeah, these Saturday nights, they seem to have gotten a lot busier for people in recent times, as we know. In this rat year, it's been a unique one, as we know. By the way, I wanna tell you something. I want to reveal. Back in the fall, okay, it was in the fall of 2019. There was a channel on YouTube that I left a comment on, and I commented saying, "I'll tell you her channel. I forget her name. It's Raquel Springs. Is her first name pronounced Raquel or Rachel? I think it's Raquel. So Raquel Spring's channel, and she would verify this. Raquel would verify this, that sometime last year, it was in the fall or November. I commented on one of her videos, and this is what I said. I said, you know, something else interesting is next year, 2020, is the rat year in Chinese astrology. Now, what happens in a rat year is big changes. A lot of people's lives will change in the rat year because it's the sign of the rat in the Chinese zodiac. It's the mark of new beginnings because the rat is the first sign. The rat is the first sign of the 12 animal signs of the Chinese zodiac. So this is why, so therefore it marks a new beginning or beginnings. So she could verify, I think she would remember that I left that comment. What's weird, here's what's weird though. Well, I'm not saying this is weird, but it was kind of interesting, I thought, because I looked in the history of my comments. I looked in the history of my comments and to look for that so that I could copy and post it to show it. But strangely, that video ended up being deleted for some reason. So I think there was a number of videos that she deleted in her channel. And unfortunately, well, I'm not saying this is unfortunate, but that ironically, that happened to be one of them. But I can tell you, and look, Scorpio Ox Man, you know, I'm honest. And I'm telling that is a true story. I did leave that comment saying, you know, I heard that in 2020 is going to be the rat year, and a rat year is the mark of new beginnings. So that's the prediction for 2020. So, and she would verify that, but she, Raquel Spring, you know what? I'll leave the link. I'll leave her link. She did a video. She did a live stream today, Raquel Spring. I'll give her a shout out too. Thanks for all you do, Raquel. And I'll leave her link below. When I get this video uploaded on by Monday, I'll try to get it up by Monday, and then I'll leave the link for her as well of her site. Okay, so. Yeah, I'm just seeing, checking for, yeah, Saturday nights. I have a little confession I want to tell too, because, well, see, the next couple of weeks is going to be pretty busy for me. By the way, I'm a golfer. I play the sport of golf a lot, and see, now that the indoor season is pretty well retired for the year, there's the indoor facilities that open where I play in, or that I go to play in, and I'm going to be doing that a lot in the next couple of weeks. So this weekend, this Saturday, I thought was going to be good for this meeting, in that it didn't make a lot of sense that we do this meeting on the actual Halloween night, because but I'm not available next weekend either. I'm not gonna, it's gonna be a busy weekend for me next weekend too. So, but this weekend was wide open. This weekend was wide open for me. And yeah, Amber Lynn will be, she'll be with us shortly. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay. Oh, I have a secret to reveal to you. My secret, I have a little surprise at the end of the show. We're gonna, Amber Lynn and I, we're gonna share our ghost stories. When Amber Lynn is finished, I'm going to give a shout out to somebody I know he's a huge YouTuber. His name is Kyle Berkshire. Kyle Berkshire. Well, I'll say hi to him right now. Hey, Kyle. I hope you're doing good. Safe travels to you, buddy. And Kyle Berkshire. He's a huge golfer. He's a pro golfer. I'm like a more recreational player, but Kyle Berkshire is a huge golf player. He's actually the longest hitter on earth of a golf ball. He won the World Long Drive Championship. Was it last year? I think it was last year. He's the reigning long drive champion of the world, I believe. He drives the ball over 400 yards. And this is golf terms of the game of golf. And the reason I'm giving him a shout out, I had an idea for him for one of these special. So almost every day he posts a new video of him playing around the golf. So Kyle, he travels a lot, all over the United States, basically, to all these different courses. I think he plays like 3 or 4 different courses a week, and he's like a huge traveler of. Just checking some here. Okay. So Kyle Berkshire, he posts a YouTube video of his almost every day of his rounds of him playing. So I had an idea for him for a course that he could go and play. And this is kind of Halloween related too, because the name of the course, I'll reveal it right now. It's actually, it's located in Alberta, Canada. So, okay, so you know what? I'll give him a shout out right now. Kyle, so I hope you're doing well. I watch your channel all the time, and your channel's amazing, and you're a rising star, man, and congratulations. I had an idea for you. The Banff Springs Golf Club. Banff Springs Golf Club in Alberta, Canada. Maybe one of these years for a Halloween special, you could go play there and record it for your channel. I think that would be amazing, because the reason I mention this as a Halloween special is that's where the Banff Springs Hotel, that's the location site of the Banff Springs Hotel, which is said to be haunted. Now, that's why I mentioned for if you were to do a Halloween episode, I think that would be perfect. I'm not saying you have to stay at the hotel, Kyle. I'm just you could stay at a hotel in Calgary. I would probably recommend you stay at a hotel somewhere in Calgary or Edmonton, which the major cities that are right near there. But I think it would be amazing if you played at this course. I'm reading at how old this golf course is. Banff Springs Golf Course that's on the location side of the hotel. I want to give a bit of history. So the Banff Springs Hotel was built in 1880, the year 1880. So it's 140 years old. Some famous people who have visited there was Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe had stayed there, which was in, I guess, back in the 1940s or 50s. I'll have to read the history again, but and she actually played. Marilyn Monroe, there's a famous photograph of her having played on this golf course of Marilyn Monroe. So it's a famous course. This hotel, Banff Springs Hotel, when it was built in the year 1880, it was the largest hotel on earth. The largest hotel on earth. And I don't know how many years it remained the largest hotel, but it's that's pretty amazing. It's like a castle. When you see it, it's like a castle. And it's like, I don't know that I'd ever go there to stay, but so I have that recommendation for you, Kyle. One of these days, perhaps for a Halloween special show, you could go play on that course, Banff Springs course in Alberta, Canada. So if you come up to Canada, I don't know how often you visit Canada, but that could be an interesting trip for you in the upcoming years. Not maybe next year or whenever, but you want to know something? Oh, okay. And so Kyle Berkshire, I'm telling this to. This it says here on the Banff Springs golf course, the fourth hole, which is called the Devil's Cauldron, This hole is one of the world's most scenic par threes. So when it says scenic, I think that would mean famous. So I imagine that would mean famous. So it says here on the site, I'm going to leave on the website here. I could leave if you ever visit my video here, Kyle. I'm going to leave this site for you below to check out. Yeah, I'm not going to post it on your YouTube channel, obviously, because I know that's against YouTube rules. But I'll definitely, yeah. So I'm definitely going to give you a shout to let you know about this. And I thought I'd, be on this video today to give you that idea. I'm a huge fan, and thanks for all you do. And your personality is golden, man. Keep it up. Keep it up. That's, we need more people like you around, showing that good role model ship. The role model. You're a great role model. Thanks for all you do, Kyle. And yeah, that was an idea I had for you. One of these days, you could probably go there to play on that golf course, Banff Springs Golf Club in Alberta, Canada. It could be a Halloween special, since that is the location site of the Banff Springs Hotel, which is like a castle. That hotel's like a castle, but it's 140 years old, and it's said to be quite haunted in some, not in all of it, but in some parts of it, it's said to be. I was actually gonna read off some stories. Yeah, so I would recommend to Kyle that he might want to stay in a hotel somewhere in Calgary, maybe a Motel 6 or something in Calgary or wherever. So, and yeah, so this oh, I'm just checking up here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She'll be shortly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I thought of that idea not that long ago for yeah, some of the story. I don't know that I would want to repeat some of the stories of the history there, but it's about that hotel. But it's a world famous hotel because when it was built, it was the largest on Earth, the largest hotel on Earth. It's like a castle. And again, it has a very interesting history. Marilyn Monroe used to stay there, and again, there's a famous photograph of her playing on that golf course. Or if that is the actual one or the original one that used, I don't know if they refurbished it or if the original one is there and then they built a new one beside it. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, it is the original that's there. Yeah. Okay, so we're still waiting on, yeah, Amberlynn will be showing up shortly. My rat here is, he just woke up after a sleep there. See, I made him fall asleep with my stories. You see that works when I make him fall asleep when I tell stories, it makes him fall asleep, so that it kind of gives me an advantage. I'm actually going to get up I'm going to give him a rest and get my lizard guy here. Oh, stay here. So he's pretty good. So, okay. I'm giving a shout out to some friends of mine. They're going to... Okay. All good. Perfect. So, okay. So I'm going to share so I had a couple of ghost stories tonight, and I'm going to share them. I'll let Amberlynn go first, and then I'll tell mine. Oh. Scorpio Ox Man channel. The reason I named it that, this channel, that is because it has to do with my moon sign. My moon sign, which is Scorpio. So now I go by the true, this is not the case in the tropical system. So just a reminder that the tropical system, it says my moon sign is Sagittarius, but I go by the true sidereal system, which is different. It shows the different signs and locations, it claims that it's the real actual sky that it shows. And so I go by that, and it says that my moon is Scorpio when I was born. So my moon sign is Scorpio, and my day sign in the Chinese is the ox, the wood ox, to be specific. So day of the wood ox is so the day I was born was day of the ox in the Chinese zodiac, and the moon was Scorpio. So that's why I named my channel Scorpio Ox Man. So because of that, going by the moon sign and the day sign. Now, Amber Lynn joining us tonight, she would be called, if she hosted this show, she would be called Sagittarius Rat Woman, because her moon sign in the sidereal is Sagittarius, and her day sign in the Chinese is the rat, the sign of the rat. So of course I'm not calling her a rat. I'm just referring to the Chinese zodiac, the sign of the rat, which was the first. And Amber Lynn, she's the first in everything. She wins the race. The rat always wins the race. Remember that. They were the first sign. They crossed the line. Now, mind you, the ox helped them win the race. The ox was the one who helped them win the race, but the bottom line is they still won. No matter how, folks, no matter how it's done, if you win, you win. If you cross the finish line first, however it happened, hey, you did it, right? Well, it's not the rat. The story about this is, it's not that the rat cheated. It's not that the rat cheated, but it was that the ox helped it to cross the river. So the rat wasn't able to swim. So the ox, the rat wasn't able to swim. So the ox got in the water. The ox was right behind the rat. And so the ox offered the rat a ride to get across the river out of fairness, because the ox knew, oh, the rat's not able to swim. She or he could drown. But the ox is big and is easily able to go through the water and could swim or float. So the ox said to the rat, hey, you could just get on my back and away we go. We'll be fine. And you'll, out of fairness, because and this is how the ox and rat became friends and best friends. So in the Chinese zodiac. So the rat got on the ox's back, and so when he crossed the river, or got over to the other side of the river, suddenly the rat quickly jumped off and then crossed the finish line. And so they said that, well, some stories said that, oh, the rat ungratefully jumped off and crossed the finish line. But I mean, it's a race, right? And so the ox was just being respectful and nice because he felt sorry for the rat. So, but the bottom line is the rat still won. And so they're number one. So people who are born under the sign of the rat, whether they're born in the year of the rat or the month, I find people born in December, they have a lot of rat energy as well, because December is month of the rat. December, so we all have our year sign in the Chinese zodiac. but we also have a month sign. The months we're born in, they count as well. And we all have a day sign as well. And it even goes further than that. We have a rising sign. You know how in the Western astrology system or sidereal, we have a rising sign, whether that be rising sign of Capricorn, Virgo, Aquarius, and so on, or Scorpio. In the Chinese, we also have a rising sign as well. Rising, the Chinese zodiac also has rising sign, and they're based on the hours that we're born in. So the real difference is that the rising signs in the Chinese zodiac, they don't change every day. They're pretty consistent. They're pretty fixed in every hour. Basically, it changes every 2 hours, and these hours are all the same every night. So these, I'm just checking up here. Hang on. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Amber Lynn, she'll be here shortly. Perfect. The rat's always on a roll. So I'm just saying, Amber Lynn, so in her Chinese zodiac, she's Year of the Monkey, 1992. But because she's born during the day of the rat, so this is why I'm referring, ox. See, I'm day of ox, and so we're an ox and rat in that regard. So, okay, perfect. Okay. So, yeah, Saturday night. I want to thank again all my subscribers for supporting this channel over the last 1.5 years. We're 1.5 years old now, and thanks again to all my subscribers and to all the new ones. I greatly appreciate it. I don't usually ask for subscribers, but by all means, if you like the channel, give that subscribe button a smash. Give that big red subscribe button a smash. Or I didn't want to say smash that subscribe button. I was going to say annihilate it, or just crush it and annihilate it, though. No, I'm joking, though. But if you're interested, but yeah, your support means a lot. And I give all the advice I give and the readings I give. It's all for free. It's all for free. I give for free, and that's the Anyarada spirit in me. See, my moon sign, not only is it Scorpio, but it's the nakshatra. When going by the 27 nakshatras that circulate the zodiac, my moon is the number 17 nakshatra, Anyarada, and that's the Anyarada spirit. We care friendships. It's all about friendships, gathering friendships, and yeah, I like to give for free right now. And I mean, this channel, I prefer it to keep it a small one for now. But I mean, we just take it day by day. Typically, when a big famous person, celebrity stars, when their birthday comes along, typically I do their birthday analysis, or I tell their astrology info on their birthday. And so this past week was Kim Kardashian's. So so I did the video on that one. And for her, now her birthday this week was, I think that she was the most famous person this week who had a birthday, in my opinion. But she's like the top 3. She's like the top 3 for famous birthdays. Famous people in the world. Famous people in the world. So I do, and I'm not afraid to admit something here. I will typically choose famous people to do videos on who are typically among my favorites. So, I mean, she's one of my favorite celebrities, and just along with, Matt Damon, George Clooney, Jennifer Lawrence, and the list goes on of favorites that I had. Chris Pratt. The one I had that I meant to do this year, and it's not too late. I don't really, you know what? I don't really want to wait till next year to do Chris Pratt's. So that's one I meant to get around. This past summer was kind of busy. His birth date is June the 21st. If I'm pretty sure it's the 21st of June, Chris Pratt. He's one of my favorites as well. And I meant to do him this summer, but this summer was there was a lot going on. And so I wasn't able to get around to fitting for, excuse me, I meant to get around doing Chris Pratt's. So next month in November, there's a lot, by the way, there's a lot of celebrity birthdays in November. It's huge. And I'm going to do my best to fill in time for that. For Matthew McConaughey is November the 4th. Ryan Gosling is November the 12th. Rachel McAdams, the 17th. Scarlett Johansson, the 22nd. Miley Cyrus is the 23rd. The list goes on. There's many big birthdays. So I'm going to do my best to fit in what I can in November. And see, now that the summer is over, so the outdoor season, you know, in this climate where I live, it's pretty well, we've entered what I call the indoor season. There's not as much activity outside, which means there's kind of, in a lot of, not in every sense, but in some sense, there's more time for YouTube. So we should be able to get around to making the videos, more of the videos. Oh, hang on a sec. Okay, perfect. Oh, it's not a big deal. Yeah, she's just setting everything up now. Yeah, so Amber Lynn. Yeah. So you see how, in a lot of sense, the I'm just going to take a bit of time here to give more shout outs to friends of mine, but there won't be any delay. Okay. Oh, my lizard is acting up here. Okay. Okay, hang in there. All right. Tuning in. Okay, I'm just going to check the, cannot minimize. Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Yepper. All right, perfect. I think we can do that. Yes, we can. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people, I think a lot of people, yeah, it's the weekend. It is the weekend, but next weekend is going to be even more busy than this one, for sure. No question. Okay, I'm just gonna, okay. Okay, perfect. So, all right. By the way, Athen Chimenti, I'll give a huge shout out to him. Oh, thanks so much for all you've done, Athen. He's Athen Chimenti is the host of Mastering the Zodiac. Scorpio Ox Man channel, my channel. My primary foundation, there's two websites I promote. Mastering the Zodiac and AusterianAstrology.com. Mastering the Zodiac is hosted by Athen Chimenti. AusterianAstrology.com is hosted by Jade Luna, Jade So Luna. I give a shout out to you, Jade, as well. Thanks again for all you guys have done. And you may have been the biggest inspiration of why I'm here, having done this channel. Because Scorpio Ox Man channel, we primarily those two websites I promote, and basically on the side I talk a lot about Chinese astrology, and as I've mentioned, I go through the celebrity, I call the nakshatras of famous people, or nakshatras of celebrity video series that I do with every time a celebrity's or famous person's birthday comes along, I do a video on that. And I try to fill the time in throughout the year. So again, as I mentioned, I'm a golfer. That's the sport that I play right now. I put a lot of time into that as well. But basically, this is my hobby. This is what I put my spare time into. And okay. Okay, perfect. Shortly. Yeah, Amberlynn is running a little bit behind. Yeah. Because she told me that she's getting like a scene set up where she's lighting candles. And there could be a surprise here. She's lighting candles and she's setting everything up. And I actually I started this stream about a half hour early. I started it a half hour early. So she, and when I first let her know that she was, yeah. So I let her know I was going to start it a little bit early, about a half hour. And so when she's getting everything ready and that, she was an amazing Amberlynn was I had her on the show before a few weeks ago, the one where my super friend Amberlynn, who's an Emrigashire sun and Purvashada moon, those are regarding nakshatras. So she that was the show we did where she joined, and she was my supervisor 10 years ago. 10 years ago now is when she was my supervisor at Timmy's, where I used to work. Tim Hortons is a Canadian food chain. And so when I started work there, when I was going to school, I went back to school and started working there. Or it was supposed to be initially so Amberlynn was my supervisor. She was one of my first supervisors for, I worked there over a year. Basically the first stint I had there was for 10 months. Then I went back for a second stint, which lasted 4 months. So that's basically 14 months combined in all that I worked at Timmy's. But my first year working there was when, this was in 2010, way back in 2010. So when she got, she was one of our supervisors, our first ones. And she, there was a few other supervisors. You know what? They were all very good, but and I remember one funny story. And this was one of the first times I met her, Amberlynn. She, it was night shift. Okay, so I only did night shift because that's what was available. And that's really all I could do because I was in school. I was in school during the day in the morning. And I'd have to go in to work for evening shifts through about 5 days a week. So mind you, when I was first interviewed, initially, I was looking for part-time only because I was going to school. Like I was in classes in the morning. So I wanted to do part-time only because it was fair. Unfortunately, they had a rule. They had a rule that basically new timer. Actually, no, I'm sorry. They didn't have any part-time positions available. It was full-time only. So I said, okay, that's not a problem. I needed the job. Like I needed to work at the time to get it on my resume, because I was building my resume at the time. So basically, so I took on the shift, and I kind of laugh about it when I think back, because it was, at the time, I kind of bit off more than I could chew, but you know what? It was a lot of fun. It was a tremendous amount of fun. I met a lot of great people too, Amber Lynn being one of them. So anyhow, the first night, or no, in that year, so Amber Lynn was hired, I think, a month or two after I was. So when she came along, one of the nights that I worked, I was at the till. So I basically worked storefront. So I was at the storefront, and so she was the supervisor. So I think one night we got shorthanded. A few people didn't show up. And so her and I, we called for backup for other workers to show up. But while we were waiting, I was alone with Amber Lynn at the front at the till. So suddenly she came to the till, and this was like the first order she gave me of what to do as a supervisor. She said to me, Tyler, can you go at the window to serve the customers at the window? And I was in shock, because I wasn't trained to be on window yet. And she didn't know that. She didn't know that I hadn't been trained to serve at the window. And so she came to do something at the till, and she said, Tyler, can you go? So at this point, it was kind of too late, because she was already doing her thing with, she had some like emergency she had to deal with. And I was the only one that was able to go at the window, but I wasn't trained though. So I think what happened was, at first I kind of hesitated, and like, I didn't know what to say at this point, because I was a little bit stunned, because I was like, she doesn't know I'm not trained to be at the window. So I think I went to the window, and I kind of looked at the computer, and I looked, and now luckily my prayers were answered. Somebody showed up. An extra person showed up, and she said, oh, I said, oh, someone needs you at the window. So Amber Lynn looked at me, and she's like, oh, why didn't you? So this other employee said to her, oh, no, he's not trained to be at the window and that. And this is when I admitted it to her too. And she was like, oh my gosh, Tyler, she felt bad. She's like, oh gosh, Tyler, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. But the funny thing is, that was her first order that she gave me. I think that was the very first order she gave me as a supervisor. So that was pretty crazy how that happened and went down. So that's what I could tell you all night, my stories about working at Timmy's. It was the most fun. I have to admit this now. It was the most fun I had in my life. Or one of them, right up there. I met a lot of great people, and it was kind of more than I could chew, because, there was only so basically they only had full time available for me. So it was kind of more than I could chew at the time. So the full-time shifts, this went on for about 5 months or 6 months. And eventually they were able to cut me down to part-time, because I asked them, basically when we got to the spring of 2011, I said to them, can you, I'm going to need to shrink down to part-time because I need more time for schoolwork, because we were getting in the final exam. So they said, okay, no problem. And, you know, at that point, you would kind of earn it because, well, if you've done full-time in the work and also full-time as a student. So at that point, they kind of had to give me a break, or to kind of cut my hours and shifts so that I could have more time for schoolwork. Luckily, it all turned out pretty good because that year in 2011, my teachers, who they selected me as valedictorian and the highest honored student of the year for the learning center that I was going to. So that, you know what, that was a special time that happened to me. 2011 was that was a memorable year for sure. And my graduation day, I did my graduation speech about me and Matt Barber. Matt Barber was the other valedictorian, and that graduation day of ours, we had a blast when we did our speeches, and that was a very memorable time. And I'm even gonna, you know what, I'll leave that post in some of my upcoming videos, or maybe even this one. I'll leave the video of that I'll show you of my graduation of that year. And you know, people and friends like Amber Lynn, they you know, it was kind of hard times at the time, you know, working in that shift, that pretty grueling shift. But people like Amber Lynn, she really brought a lot of fun to the workplace, because there was all kinds of crazy stuff that happened that time. But it was a lot of fun though, for sure. How her and Nancy Nanim, Chanel, and Jenna, who else now? Keisha was another coworker of mine, and Jeff was another. Kyle, who I'm kind of naming everybody that I remember. Gladys was a great supervisor of ours, and also, yeah, they but Mandy White Teskey. She was another supervisor we had at Timmy. She was amazing. She was unbelievable. Sadly, she left. Not long after I joined. So I luckily I got to work with her for a month, and she was a super person. But we were quite sad to see her go when she left, because she moved up. No, she got another job somewhere, and she moved. Mandy White Teskey, and my other coworkers and mine. Phyllis. Phyllis was another super coworker of mine. She was my trainer. She trained me at Timmy's as well. You know what's funny too, and I don't believe there's any coincidences in life, is it's funny how my name, the initials of my name is TH, okay? And Tim Hortons is TH. So it's funny how that works out, doesn't it? T8, that's why, you know what? I think I did pretty good, TH, working at TH. Now, Keisha, my friend Keisha, I'll give a shout out to you, Keisha. Her and I, we've made jokes about that for years, about my name being TH. And meanwhile, I worked at TH. So some other friends I've met while working at TH, I want to give a shout out to. That's Mitchell Scott, Summer, Summer, who moved to Australia. I want to give a big shout out to you, Summer. I hope everything's working out for you down in the land down under. Yeah, Summer, she's lived in she moved down to live in Australia the last few years or something, and she's by the way, I'm gonna there was something that she posted on her Facebook a while back that I'm gonna do the same, and it's kind of a Halloween post of a movie. I don't want to give away the movie of what it is, but it's a new Halloweenish movie that's coming out next year. And it's going to be So I don't want to reveal the name of it. I don't want to give too much of it away, but I'm going to post it. I'm going to post it on Facebook as well. And I'm letting you know that as well, Summer, that I'll let you know what it is. And I definitely, one of these days, I wanted to post it for the Halloween season. And yeah, Amber Lynn did tell me earlier. She told me, I think a couple of hours ago, that she may have interruption. She may have had interruptions here and there, but she's going to get everything together and be on. And she has, by the way, she has 8 cats. Eight. Yeah, so that's pretty. So for all I know, she's probably set stuff up, and all the stuff that she set up for her to be on the show tonight, her cats probably came along and knocked them over. I'm not joking. They probably did, and she's probably cleaning everything up. For all I know, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, because she has 8 cats, and she told me they run amok, and that could have happened. So. Could you imagine? You want to know? She must have a lot of patience, Amber Lynn, because we have 1 cat. Okay, like 1 cat is like having a lot of pet. Well, to me it kind of is, but it's like we have 1 cat, and 1 cat alone is a lot of work. And it's like, if you have 8, oh my goodness. Like, well, I guess as long as nobody in the household has allergies in that. As long as nobody in the household has allergies, I think they'd be okay. You know what? I'm going to message her and ask her if that happened. I'm going to see if that happened with her. I'm going to say, is everything good? Did your cats knock everything over? Okay. Everything good? Did your cats knock everything over? Yeah, let's see what she says. Yeah, she did mention that she may have interruptions. But yeah, so again, I know I rambled on a little bit about, telling some of my story, but tonight was just, it's a normal Saturday night. This channel it's not for educational purposes. It was only to share, it was only really for chilling and sharing ghost stories, as long as they're not too scary. And that. So yeah, that's what it is for tonight. But yeah, again, in the coming weekends, when friends are usually available on the weekends, I always found. But I think these weekends are a little tough for people to get a hold of. Yeah. But this video tonight, it's all about chilling. This is a chilling video. That's what it is for tonight. And I'm very glad I had the opportunity to give a shout out to Kyle Berkshire and give him that recommendation for maybe a future episode of his for YouTube. And another huge shout out to you again, Kyle. I want to wish you a very happy, safe Halloween season to you and family. And I hope everything's going good. And I wish you a very safe in all your travels as well. Continue to be safe in all your travels. Bud, yeah, thanks so much again. His channel, Kyle Berkshire. I'm gonna leave the link. Of Kyle's Berkshire channel. So get on his channel and smash his subscribe button. For sure. He's the longest hitter. Oh, you know what? I want to tell, you know what? I'm really good. While we're waiting for Amberlynn, I'm going to tell this, I want to tell this forecast for Kyle Berkshire. His forecast, his Chinese astrology forecast for next year, it's very good. It's like super good, because he's born in 1996. Okay. And I'm pretty sure that's him now. So he's year of the rat. So Kyle Berkshire's year of the rat. Next year is the ox year. It's year of the ox. So next year, that's going to be a super year for him. Because as I mentioned earlier, the ox and the rat, they're friends. So Kyle, get ready, because you're gonna have gold happen to you next year, buddy. I promise you that. That's gonna be, because not only it's a superb, the other reason it's a superb year for people who were born in 1996, the year 2021. The reason why the year 2021 is so superb for people from 1996 is because it's year of the metal ox. Okay, so I just want to explain this in a nutshell. The metal ox is the soulmate of soulmates, the soulmate of soulmates for the fire rat. Okay, 1996 is the fire rat. Okay, so the fire rat and the metal ox soulmate. They're not only is the ox and rat soulmates, but yang fire and yin metal, they're actually soulmate elements, believe it or not. So that's just more gold for the platinum. So it's going to be a superb year. People born, so again, people from 1996, the year 2021, next year, or no, sorry. Yeah, the year 2021, I meant the year 2021, next year, is the metal ox. And that is a superb year for those from 1996, the fire rat year. So, honestly, it's as good as it gets. A year like this is as good as it gets. So what I want to explain, people from 1996, next year, whatever happens, it's all good seeds are going to be planted. Something big and good may not occur in the actual year, but believe me, the seeds will be planted. The seeds are going to be planted, and the ball's really going to roll. So basically, the snowball is going to start up. It may be small. In the years following, it's going to get bigger and bigger. But this actual year is where the seeds are going to be planted. So that's going to be pretty amazing. So look out for that, Kyle, in the year 2021. And you know what? The Olympic Games that were supposed to be in Tokyo this year, they've moved to next year. It's interesting how they moved it to next year too. So I'm not too sure of the significance of that. I don't know if you would play in the Olympics, Kyle, or whatnot. But that would, like, let's say you were going for that. You would have a high chance. Like, I mean, on paper, you would have a good chance of making that. But whatever your plans are, like, that's, whatever your plans are, go for it. This is the year to get it done, bro. Like, everything, let's say you were starting a new business. This is the year to get it done. It's the year to get it done. It will be successful. People who start a business or something, or a new company, or start anything in the year of their best friend in the Chinese zodiac, the ball gets rolling. So again, something big may not happen in the actual year, but if the seeds are planted, though, and in the upcoming years, it goes somewhere. But it started in that year. So, but something really good and big could still happen in this year, because being in the fire rat and in the metal ox, nothing gets bigger than those two in the Chinese zodiac. Because you see, in the Chinese zodiac, there's 60 signs. Okay. So 60 in all. Okay, there's 12 animal signs, but there's 5 different types of each. Okay. There's 5 different types of each of the 12 animal signs. So that's 60 in all. Because basically you have, okay, the sign of the rat, but there's 5 different types of rats. That's the wood rat, the fire rat, the earth rat, the metal rat, and the water rat. And there's, oh, sorry, there's something popped up here. Okay. So there's 5 different kinds of rats. There's 5 different kinds of oxen, 5 different kinds of tigers, so on and so on, because each of the 5, they have a different element. So that's why it adds up to 60 in all. So you're the fire rat, Kyle, from the 1996, and the soulmate of soulmates is the metal ox for you. So when the year of the metal ox comes along, that's going to be your biggest year in the Chinese zodiac. So, and that happens to be next year. So you got big stuff coming for you, bro. So best of luck with it. And yeah, so next year, that's going to be a year to look forward to. So, okay. So we're still waiting on Amber Lynn. So right now, so we're more than an hour in. If worse comes to worse, we may have to continue this in November. If Amber Lynn has to cancel, which would be okay. Okay. We'll definitely move the show to November though, but I'm glad that I want everybody to be happy tonight, no matter what you tune into and that. And so, I want everybody to be safe and happy, and I don't want to say safe in terms of like, I'm not implying like, safe as in safe from like being afraid to go out and that. I'm referring to a safe and happy and joyous Halloween season, but in general, regardless if it's the Halloween season, just in general, And again, this video tonight, it was all about chilling. It's all about chilling, and that's it. On a Saturday night, that's what it's all about, baby. Always will be on a weekend. Everyone, I'm kind of laid back too. I want to be laid back on a Saturday night, typically. And I'll tell you something too. This was today's a pretty big day astrologically, I think, because I mentioned about the different kinds of the Chinese zodiac in oh, hang on a sec. Okay, hang on a second. So sorry, moving slow. Okay. There is a chance. There's still a chance that she'll be able to tune in. Yeah. Okay. But it doesn't matter. It's a Saturday night. We're all chilling. And cheers to you all out there. Wishing everybody a happy and safe Halloween season to everybody out there. I don't drink these too often, by the way. This is just okay. This is just occasional. I'm going to read off, while we're waiting, I'm just going to read off something here. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, she's definitely getting stuff ready. I figure I kind of have an inkling she might have, one of her 8 cats. That's a lot. That's a big nut. I'm only saying this as a joke. One of her 8 cats might have knocked something over. And apparently, if you have 8 cats in the house, that's going to be pretty active, eh? And that would be really funny if that's what happened. We're going to find out if that happened. And if that really happened, that's going to be something then. That's going to be something if that happened. But it's all good, yeah. But I was going to mention the I'm going to go ahead and read off. Oh, hang on a sec. I'm giving more friends a shout out. So just give me 1 second here. Just going to take a little breather here to give some friends a shout out. Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay, hang in there, hang in there. Okay. Just 1 second. I'm just giving some, while we're waiting, just giving just giving some friends of mine a shout out. So they're gonna tune in. Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay. I'm going to, so in a short while, I'm going to share with you some stories that I read about, some ghost stories that I read about. Okay. I didn't, if Amberlynn tunes in, if she might tune in, that interrupts, but that'll be okay. That'll be okay. If she interrupts while I'm telling the stories, that'll be okay. So all good. It's all good. Okay. Yeah, no problem, bro. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Okay, perfect. Oh, okay. Still good. Okay, hang on. All right. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys while we're waiting. Okay, she's going to pop on any time by the looks of it. Okay, while we're waiting, I'm going to share with you there's one spooky story, and I was a little wary about telling this one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to read it off actually from a website. Okay, so oh, okay, hang on. I just got to find the site here. One moment. Oh, you get back from there. Get. Okay, get back. He tried to bite the camera there. He gets aggressive at times. Okay, I'm putting him away. Hang on. I'm putting him away. This rat. The lizard, our lizard could stay, but not you. He's been good. You haven't. Okay, I'm putting him away. Okay, he's back in his cage. He's back in his little cage. All good. Okay, so this story. Yeah, so the rats, the rats, they think they rule. They think they rule because It's the rat year, folks. It's the rat year. They rule. Haunted. Okay, so there was an old show. Okay, there was an old TV show I used to watch all the time. The name of it was called Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. Okay, so the story, Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. So the story was there was a rich man who was an antique collector. He was basically a collector of antiques. And this so he found this hooded chair. There was an old there was this very unique looking made of wood, and it was hooded. Sorry, it's called a hooded antique chair. And basically, so I'll start with that, and I'll read to you the rest of the story. And this was an episode, okay? So this was an episode of Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. You could find out about this and watch. I don't know if there's episodes on YouTube that you could watch, but I'm going to read off. So I'll read off the story to you of what happened in this episode. So basically, this show, Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction, it would tell a story. And at the end of the show, it would ask the viewers whether the story was true or made up, and you had to guess. Okay, and you would have to guess. So I'm going to tell you this story first, and I'll let you know whether it was true or not. Okay. So, all right. So in this episode, the hooded chair. Okay. The name of this episode was called The Hooded Chair. Okay, so here we go. The Hooded Chair is the last story of episode 14. In it, a wealthy tycoon purchases an antique hooded chair with little knowledge of its disturbingly haunted past. It had a haunted past, but little did the owner know about its history. Okay. Steel businessman George Talbot III. He inherited the family business and a huge fortune following the death of his father, George Talbot Jr. George Talbot Jr. was a respected and good-natured magnate. Despite being hardworking, he was an arrogant. However, George Talbot, the son who inherited, he was kind of arrogant. He was spoiled, and he was kind of a rotten person who spent most of his time traveling the world in search of priceless relics. So that was a hobby of his. I mean, not painting a bad picture of anyone. I mean, people misunderstand and misinterpret stuff a lot. So, but he was, hey, I mean, it's a hobby that he had. I'm sure he really cared for people, like in his business and that. But sometimes you have to get a little strict when you own a business and that, and there could be a lot of pressure too. So it's understandable. But he had a hobby where he traveled the world and he collected antiques. So he was an antiquer. Okay, so he would search for priceless relics, and he was a collector of them. However, George had an obsession of this. George's obsession took the best of him when one day he purchased what's called an ancient hooded chair, very rare. So there's an incredibly rare type of chair called an antique hooded chair. It has a hood, kind of like, not a hood like a cobra snake, but kind of like something you'd sit in, and then it has kind of a canopy over it, and it's kind of tall. It has a canopy over it. And back in the day, I guess they were popular in the 1700s or 1800s, 18 and 19th centuries. So George's obsession took the best of him when one day he purchased an ancient hooded chair, which was done. This was done on his behalf by his lawyer. His lawyer was the one who had got it for him when he placed an order. Yeah. So his lawyer, Linda Wiseman, whose name is Linda Wiseman, despite making a huge commission from him, so Linda Wiseman, his lawyer, got the chair for him, was able to travel overseas or wherever and got the chair for him, despite the fact that Mr. Talbot, despite the fact that Mr. Talbot paid his lawyer, Linda Wiseman, to get this antique for her, this chair, she was concerned about this chair's history. She was concerned about him possessing a chair like this, knowing its history, because she found out something about it that kind of gave her the heebie-jeebies, I guess, per se. So Linda Wiseman, who despite making a huge commission from Mr. Talbot, she feared the item's reputation, and she heard a rumor that the chair was cursed. It had a curse. It had karma attached to it, if you would say. So that's so already I'm getting goosebumps. Already we're getting goosebumps here. So Mr. Talbot does not believe in curses. He doesn't believe in karmas or all that nonsense about ancient items and that. He doesn't believe in that. So he ordered his lawyer, Mrs. Wiseman, to still retrieve the list of the owners. He asked her for the list of the previous owners of this chair so he could get it, so he could look into the history of it. Who wouldn't? Obviously, you would want to know the history of an antique item that you're purchasing. Obviously. So the next day after George had purchased the chair, this antique hooded chair, Jenny, his maid, Mr. Talbot's maid Jenny, decided to sit on the chair out of curiosity to see how it felt. But she was rudely admonished by Mr. Talbot. Mr. Talbot informed her that the chair is exclusively for him and he wanted nobody to touch it. It's an antique. You wouldn't want anybody to touch it, right? Something, if you have an antique over 200 years old, you're not going to want anyone, maybe special guest sitting in it or whatever. But his maid, one day his maid was curious and decided to sit on it. And Mr. Talbot informed that only him and his special guest could sit in it and touch it. By the following week, his maid Jenny, who sat in the chair, she died in a hit and run accident, a car accident, hit and run, which involved a motorist driving under the influence of alcohol. So the following week, she ended up dying and this was a week after she sat in the chair. So when this happened, Mr. Talbot did not believe that he knew that the chair had a rumor to had a curse, but he did not believe that the chair had a role in his maid's Jenny's death. He didn't believe it or didn't want to believe it, but there was a little bit of suspicion that rose in his mind. So he kind of thought, you know what, could it be a possibility? But nah, that's BS. Mr. Talbot doesn't believe in curses. There's nothing wrong with this chair. And his maid having sat in it had nothing to do with her tragic accident the following week. Welcome to the world of coincidence, he thought, Mr. Talbot. Welcome to the world of coincidence. A week after the incident, so a week after his maid had the tragic accident, a close friend of Mr. Talbot Eric Hayes, Mr. Hayes, visited Mr. Talbot, and he was a special friend, and he insisted on sitting on the chair despite Mr. Talbot's objections. So, okay, so Mr. Talbot didn't want Mr. Hayes, his guest, to sit in the chair. He was against it. He was against it initially because he wasn't I guess he still had suspicion, but he didn't want to believe. He didn't want to believe it had a curse. Mr. Hayes sat in the chair to see what it felt like, because it was unique. It's a unique chair. It's they don't make them. They stopped making these chairs 200 years ago or something like that. So it's unique. So I guess is probably going to be curious to sit in it. Okay. So Mr. Hayes sat in the chair. 2 days later, Mr. Hayes was killed when the plane he was piloting crashed due to an engine failure while flying to New York. So Mr. Hayes was a pilot. 2 days later, he was flying his plane. There was an engine malfunction and it crashed. So, and that was just 2 days later after this. So Mr. Talbot, at this point, Mr. Talbot he's starting to get freaked out a little bit. He's saying, is that a coincidence? So two people now. And so after they sat in the chair. So Mr. Talbot, the owner, he didn't want to think anything of it. So he just tried to brush it off. He was so disturbed by it that he just wanted to brush it off and leave it at that. By the next month, so a month later, so Mr. Talbot, from that point on, Mr. Talbot didn't let any guest of his or anybody touch the chair. He said, don't go near it. So, and he told people, don't go near it. So he said, you know what? So eventually Mr. Talbot, he started to believe, okay, there may be something to this. So he made sure nobody sat in it again until further notice. 1 month later, George's health, 1 month later, Mr. Talbot's health started to become ill. Mr. Talbot's health worsened by the cause of events, by some cause of some events that made him ill. This led to his so all of a sudden, Mr. Talbot started to have a mysterious illness that plagued him. So this caused his business clients, his customers, and his investors to leave his business that he owned. And it was really hurting his business. So slowly but surely, his business was crumbling because he wasn't able to go to meetings and because he was sick. He had this mysterious illness that came out of the blue and he became ill. So Mr. Talbot became ill. His investors started pushing to a brink of bankruptcy. So one day, Mr. Talbot's lawyer, Mrs. Wiseman, his lawyer, visits him one evening and presents to Mr. Talbot a list of the chair's previous owners. Okay. So here's the climax. So Mr. Talbot becomes mysteriously ill all of a sudden after he doesn't let anybody sit in the chair anymore. 1 month later, he becomes mysteriously ill. His business starts to crumble, and he's kind of going insane in a sense as well, because he's frustrated. He's frustrated why this is all happening, and all this happens ever since he got that chair. So one day his lawyer phones him up and says, I have the list. I have the information for you to show you about the history of this chair. Can I come over? Yeah, come on over. Show me the list. Show me the information. So his lawyer comes over with the information sheet that she got from the previous owner that owned this chair. Okay. And I guess this info initially was hidden because maybe whoever Mr. Talbot bought it from was probably concerned it wouldn't sell. That's just my assumption. because they wouldn't, for some reason, they thought, oh, maybe people shouldn't know who this used to belong to. Okay. And they would be worried it wouldn't sell. So Mr. Talbot's lawyer showed up at his home, and she brought the list of previous owners. And beside this list, there was a portrait of somebody. So there was a portrait of the previous owner that used to own this chair. So this chair is rumored to have a curse. It's over 200 years old or something of that nature, but it's rumored to have a curse that anyone who sat in it, something bad would happen to them, something very bad, like really bad. And so it had a curse. So Mr. Talbot, who purchased it, he's an antique dealer or an antique collector. He gets this chair, and so he gets his lawyer to find out who was the previous owner of this. I don't know who it is. So he got the list of the previous owners. Only one person is on the list, and beside the list, which only mentions one person, there's a portrait of somebody. The portrait of the person who used to own this chair. Who was this person? Napoleon. This was Napoleon's chair. It was his final chair that he sat in before he died. So this was Napoleon's favorite chair, or at least one of them. Napoleon Bonaparte, the Emperor of France from 1700s. This chair belonged to Napoleon. It was the last chair he sat in before he passed away. So Mr. Talbot, so I think that would freak most people out, most people who have a conscience. So Mr. Talbot sees the picture, the portrait of Napoleon. This was Napoleon's chair. It belonged to Napoleon. So Mr. Talbot sees this. So he realizes, okay, could that be why it has a curse? Could that be why this chair has a curse? So Mr. Talbot sees this, what the info that his lawyer brought him that shows Napoleon was the owner of this chair. He was the only owner who ever owned it. And here's the portrait of Napoleon beside the list. So to Mr. Talbot's horror, he discovers that the chair's historical significance and its role as an accessory in Napoleon's defeat during the Battle of Waterloo in Belgium on June the 17th, 1815. That's the date that's signatured. He then concludes, Mr. Talbot officially concludes that the chair has a curse, and saying this is enough evidence, this is all enough evidence that the chair is cursed, has a curse. Later that night, so his lawyer leaves for the night, and who's Mr. Talbot, he doesn't know what to do now. He says, okay, I'm going to have to get rid of this thing somehow, but how am I going to, if I'm stuck with it or whatnot? Later that night, Mr. Talbot, he wakes up in the middle of the night. He goes and gets an axe of his. So basically he's gone insane. So he gets an axe of his. He goes in his living room where the chair is, where the antique chair is that belonged to Napoleon. Mr. Talbot is intent on destroying this chair with the axe. He's angry that his friends and his maid have died because of this chair. So he wants to take an axe and chop it up. He's basically saying to Napoleon, this is how I'm gonna get back to you. So so Mr. Talbot, he goes a little nuts. He gets an axe. And so before Mr. Talbot delivers the blow, before he takes the axe, he gets the axe, he's walking over to the chair to start chopping it up. Okay? Mr. Talbot is all of a sudden struck with a fatal heart failure. All of a sudden, his chest jumps up and he has a heart stoppage or failure. Mr. Talbot became the last victim of the chair. So Mr. Talbot, he has his axe. He's going up to the chair to destroy it, to destroy Napoleon's chair. And all of a sudden, his heart goes out on him, and he drops the axe, and he falls to the floor before he could get to the chair. As it turns out, this story, so what's your guess? Is this story based on truth or is it fiction? So as it turns out, this story, it is based on true events, but it's not exactly how it happened. It is fictionalized. So it was inspired by, it mentions here on the site, which I'll leave below, there's a couple of stories that inspired this one about a haunted chair that used to belong to somebody, where if somebody sat in it, something really bad would happen to them after. So this story was, I would say it was mostly fictional or fictionalized, but it was inspired by true events. So basically it's true. So this show I used to watch, Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction, they labeled this story as based on fact. They did base it on fact, but the story is kind of fictionalized though. Like there was no chair that belonged to Napoleon, but there was other people that a chair used to belong to. One of them was they were notorious figures too. So I'm going to leave I'm going to leave this website link below for you to read about. And so again, there wasn't specifically a chair that belonged to Napoleon not in real life, but there was a couple of stories that were true about haunted chairs. They were called haunted chairs of people who sat in them, and they used to and something bad happened. So that's and I'm not going to name, I'll let you read about it. Oh, let me read off to you this last bit. The Hooded Chair was the name of this episode. It was based on true events, but it's mostly fiction though. But it was inspired by true events. Okay, so this episode, Resemblance in Real Life. 2 real cursed chairs in real life. There were 2 real chairs strongly believed to be cursed, who served as an inspiration for this episode. Okay, it is primarily based on somebody. There was a couple of people in history that were notorious. They were notorious figures. I'm not going to say any names or I'll let you read about it, but they were notorious figures who sat in these chairs, and supposedly they were the last chairs they sat in before they died, and that's how the chairs became cursed. So there's one ghost story that really gives me the chills. I thought that was pretty bone chilling, of course. So I'm going to leave that link for you to below. Okay, so okay guys, so I think that's going to be a wrap for this weekend. And you know what? I'm going to give Amber Lynn a call. I'm going to give her a call to see if I could get a hold of her. Okay, hang on one sec. Let's see if I could do that. Okay, yeah, if we can't, we'll definitely have a sequel. We're going to have a part 2 of this, probably in a couple of weeks. Probably in a couple of weeks or so. Okay. One Mississippi. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, so I think Amber Lynn, I think one of her 8 cats, I think they came and invaded her territory and knocked stuff over, which is all good. We're going to find out what happened. So in November, we're going to make a new show, and we'll try to have everybody here. And all that weren't able to make it today, we'll have them on, and they'll have their turn. I blabbed on about some of my ghost stories already. And so they'll have it. We're definitely going to give a time for them that works for them in the coming in the coming month, probably in November. I think, once again, I think this Halloween season, it is pretty busy for a lot of people. And so, but next month, things should be more wide open and available for my friends to join in on. And we'll definitely do this again. Okay, guys, so I am going to hang it up. I want to wish you all a very happy, safe, and joyous Halloween season from this Saturday to next. And my shout out to Kyle Berkshire again. I'm glad I had the opportunity for this to tell you about my ideas for future videos of yours. And again, I hope you're doing great, my friend. And everybody else, I want to give a shout out to my family, all my friends. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. Because this was live stream, I may not be able to get it up tonight. I'll do my best to have it up by Monday night. So Monday the 26th. I'll do my best to have it up then. Because the live stream, I know the live streams now, they take a little longer to do, which is okay. YouTube is great. I think YouTube is great. So thanks again, guys, for all your support. Thanks again for all my subscribers. I'm giving a huge shout out again to Alyssa, Rebecca, Dahlia Rose from Hawaii. Aloha, Dahlia, saying aloha. Thanks again for your aloha spirit that you send to all of us. And from Hawaii. And also to Amber Lynn. I hope everything's going good with those cats, Amber Lynn. So, and giving you my best as well. My shout out to give a shout out to Cody as well. My shout out to Cody as well. So thanks again for watching again tonight, guys. Have a great weekend. Okay, all the best and God bless. Take care. Thanks again. Happy Halloween.